Lorraine Kelly has blasted Novak Djokovic after he was denied entry to Australia for the Australian Open. Having arrived in Melbourne, the 9-times champion, 34, was told on Thursday he could not get in due to issues with his visa and evidence supporting his vaccine exemption. Lorraine, 62, spoke to Dr. Amir Khan about the situation, branding it a total mess, and said we can't have one rule for the rich and famous and one for the rest of the world. Djokovic, who had been detained at the city's airport for more than 8 hours while the matter was investigated, swiftly issued a legal challenge to the ruling. Dr. Amir told Lorraine, "I think people underestimate the strength of feeling in Australia against him being allowed in." The doctor went on to explain when people could be exempt from the COVID vaccine, for example being severely allergic to the contents. Dr. Amir added, "The chances of you being severely allergic to all of the vaccines, I've never come across that, and I've given out thousands of vaccines here." Giving her take on the situation, Lorraine replied, "It's a mess, it's a total mess. You've got to follow the rules, you've got to get vaxxed. I think we can all make a guess as to what his status is as far as it goes. But again, we don't know, we can't have one rule for rich and famous and one rule for everyone else in Australia and indeed around the world. It's just not fair, it's just not fair." After being denied entry to the country, the tennis player was taken to a hotel in the Melbourne's suburbs in the expectation of being put on a flight home on Thursday. Speaking about the situation, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison said Djokovic did not have an exemption to visit the country. In a press conference, Morrison thanked Border Force officers for doing their job implementing the government's policies and noted entry to Australia requires double vaccination, or a medical exemption. "I am advised that such an exemption was not in place, and as a result he is subject to the same rule as anyone else," Morrison told reporters. "I also want to stress that ultimately, this is the responsibility of the traveler. It is for the traveler to be able to assert and back up their ability to come into the country consistent with our laws. This is nothing about any one individual, it is simply a matter of following the rules, and so those processes will take their course over the next few hours, and that event will play out as it should." Djokovic has since updated his schedule on his official website, removing the Australian Open. Known vaccine skeptic Djokovic had stirred up local opinion on Tuesday by finally revealing that he would be leaving for Australia, having obtained a controversial medical exemption from being jabbed against COVID.